Good day everybody and welcome to this video. Here we are going to look at the latest patch for Dota 2, which is the version 7.06F. Let's have a look at some of the most important changes. We've got, for the Mask of Madness, they changed the cooldown, increased it, and the armor reduction also been reduced from -5 to -6. It's not that huge, I think. But let's also look. Helm of the Dominator, there's a small buff to that. Not very huge. I'm trying to see big changes. The Diffusal Blade agility reduced is that's quite huge actually. That item used to be a very cost-effective item. Now it will probably be considered among other items as well. Let's see. Ancient Apparition nerf, increased mana cost for his ultimate. Huge change here that I can pick up right now is the Bane change. All his base stats have been increased by 1, which is not that it's significant, but it does increase his, of course it increases his early game viability by a little bit. And then we've got his Nightmare cast point reduced, which is great. I mean, a 0.1 increase improvement on the cast point is pretty significant. Okay, let's have a look at another big changes. We've got Earthshaker fissure cooldown. We've got a fissure cooldown increase, not that big actually. And then we've got early levels for Enchant Totem that are more expensive now. So that should just maybe make him a little bit more mana hungry when you go for the early levels in Enchant Totem for last hitting, especially in the offlane position, because everyone saw at the International 7 how popular the hero can be, and at previous tournaments it was even played in mid by the players like Sumail, so that's also a bit less viable now. And then we've got Lich. I knew we were gonna see some Lich changes, because that hero was almost like the pick of the month when it came to TI7. Most of the teams really prioritized this hero. So now we have the Chain Frost no longer applying a mini-stun. That's on the first jump. So, and then Ice Armor Slow is from 30% to 24/26, then 28 and 30%. Okay, so it's just reduced for the earlier levels. But I'm quite surprised to see these changes. The Chain Frost mini-stun is definitely a huge nerf. But the main thing I think that made the hero more viable is that massive slow on the ultimate, the 50% slow. And that's quite huge now. So the hero is quite viable. Then we get to Lion. A little increases for his stun in the earlier levels. That's pretty cool. We haven't really seen that hero much in competitive play, so that should push him out to up to a higher tier in the picking pool. And then we get his level 20 talent is changed from +8 spell amplification to +300 Finger of Death damage. Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, he doesn't get extra damage for all his spells, but he gets +300 for Finger of Death, which is a massive freaking nuke. Okay, and now we can move on to the next section of the patch. Let's see. Okay, obviously some Lycan nerfs. That Howl was was a pretty big nuisance at TI7 when players used it to save their allies. That HP buff. So, and then of course Nature's Prophet was gonna be nerfed. He was also a top tier pick there, especially by players like Universe and who was it? Mind Control from Team Liquid. He loved that hero. Necrophos, we've got slight increase in Reaper Scythe cooldown. And okay, his Ghost Shroud also. Magic resistance penalty increased. So it's just a few nerfs for that hero. Okay, Night Stalker, a little nerf there. Reduction in his ultimate. And then let's see, Nyx Assassin, base damage reduced. That's pretty big. He used to be quite a decent support hero pickup these days, or offlaner. So that's a pretty big nerf for for his laning stage especially, because he doesn't do that much damage anyway. Okay, of course, Puck, little nerf for him there. Okay, Shadow Demon getting some love there, I see. Not very big, but it's a small change. And then we've got Skywrath Mage. Mystic Flare, mana cost reduced. Oh, okay, yeah, that's for the earlier level. 300 from 350 to 300 is rather significant. I think support Skywrath players should enjoy that change. And then we've got, where are the other big changes we've got? I tried to sift through this list, but it was hard to see. It's hard to pinpoint all the major changes, because there aren't really big changes, just medium to small changes. And then we've got Sven. Okay, he got nerfed a bit for his stun duration. And Tiny, okay, wait, this is quite big. Tiny, toss mana cost reduced from 120 to 90 and then scaling upwards. Well, that's pretty big. So his first level is 90, which is pretty big. I think calculating that should give you enough mana to cast his toss avo, or his avalanche toss combo on level 2. Because usually you wouldn't have enough mana for that. So that should work now. I haven't tested it yet, but seeing that now, it should work. And then, which is quite also big, is Gross Scepter attack range increased from 85 to 150. So that's an increase of what, 65. That's massive. So his attack range is quite far-reaching now with the Scepter bonus. Okay, then we got Tombstone buff for Undying. Okay. 4 attacks minimum required now to destroy. And Venom Monster, he got a little nerf after he's showing a TI. Wind Ranger getting some buffs, of course, because we haven't really seen that hero being played anymore. And then Winter Wyvern was actually buffed. His level 15 talent plus 20 movement speed to 35, and then his other talent plus 50 damage to 75. Okay, it's not, of course the hero isn't used for its damage output, so it's not a huge change, but it does give support Winter Wyvern players a little bit flexibility to choose from. Okay, last but not least, we've got the Wraith King Reincarnation cooldown. From the longest time, 240 seconds to 200/120/40. So Wraith King players rejoice, you no longer have a 6-minute cooldown after your first use of Reincarnation. You now have 5 minutes. Or no, that's not even 5 minutes. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that should be 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Yeah, okay, sure. Sorry, it's just a 40-second reduction. I thought it's 60 seconds. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the changes we've got, and I'm actually looking forward to a patch 7.07, because there we should see a few bigger changes, especially after the meta that evolved at TI7. And once again, thanks everybody for watching the video. I hope you enjoy the small analysis that I gave, and I'll see you in the next one.